Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of our first year. Today it's just going to be me, Liv, talking about life in the South Loop, especially as a film student. So first I'm just going to start off with kind of a day in the life. So normally I wake up pretty late personally, and normally film classes, as I'm sure you have noticed, are later in the day. So normally I'll wake up pretty late. I'll go to whatever classes I have, which normally, like this semester, I'm taking a folk horror class. That one is 6:30 to 9:50, and we watch folk horror movies each week, and we review them on Letterboxd, which is really fun. If you don't have Letterboxd, I recommend getting it. You can just review all your favorite movies, and you can see other people's reviews on it, and it's something really fun to be part of the film community a little bit. Normally I will do homework in the evening. That's kind of just how I function. So once I get home from classes and work, I'll just go home and do whatever homework I have for the week, which normally is a lot, I would say. I have a pretty decent amount of homework. I'm a film major with a fashion styling minor, and both of those get a good amount of research-based homework and just opinion-based homework. So normally I do spend a couple hours on some homework. I like to spread it out though. I don't do everything in one day. And then I will normally watch movies at home or TV. Right now I'm watching The Last of Us, which I'm sure most of you are. It's very good. I recommend it. If you're not watching it, you can watch it on HBO Max or Hulu if you have the HBO Max add-on. So yeah, that is current life for me, what I'm watching, what I'm doing. I'm taking a costume design class, which is really cool if you're into fashion, especially for theater. And I'm taking a costume styling for television class, and that is a class where we style the web series that Columbia does. So that's really cool, and we've been meeting with the director and we're meeting with the production designer on what steps we'll have to take going forward. So I want to talk about some of the things you can do to get on set, because I feel like as a freshman I didn't really know, and even I'm graduating in the winter of 23, and I just went to my first film salon, which we have here at Columbia, I think, a couple times a semester. So basically what it is you go to the film building, 1104, and you'll go upstairs, and there's a bunch of tables of films that need a crew. So basically, there's the MFA films, there's the cinematography, 2 or 3 films, there's the fictional cinema stuff, there's commercials. So you can sign up for any of those. A lot of people have QR codes that you can scan, and you just put in what you want to do. I know for me it was scary to try and get on those sets with little experience, but people will take anybody, and you always need extra positions and extra people. So even if you don't have any experience, I really urge you to still sign up and get on set, because that's one thing I regret not doing, especially because I came to Columbia in 2020, so I haven't really had a chance to be on those. So this is my first time really just connecting with a lot of different people and trying to get on set. So I'm actually on 3 different sets this semester, just from going to that one film salon, and also just making friends in my classes, which is another thing that is really important, which is hard for me because I really hate making new friends. But it's not that I don't like making new friends, it's that it's hard for me. So I'm sure many of you struggle with that as well. And I just recommend really doing your best to just maybe at least if you see somebody that's been in a class with you before, just reach out to them. A lot of people will reach out to you if they're in your classes and they see you on Instagram. So I would just urge you to really try and make some connections, even if they're just your friends, because I'm on one set because of a friend that I've had in a couple of classes, and he offered to have me on his set. So that is definitely a really important thing as well. I know it's really hard, especially like if you're really introverted and you don't have a big group of friends here at Columbia. I know it can be really hard. In my folk horror class, there's a group of people that know each other pretty well, and they've all been on set together, and it kind of like made me realize that I wish I had gotten on more sets and gotten to know more people while I was here at Columbia. But I recommend that for all of you for sure. That is like my main regret, was not doing that sooner. Keeping in mind that I couldn't really like my first year because of COVID, but especially incoming freshmen now, I really urge you to just be open-minded and get on everything you can so that you can just make those connections, because I know everybody says it, but it is really important, especially just to get on like sets, even as like a gaffer or key grip or whatever it is. It'll be worth it in the long run. So that is all I have for recommendations as far as that goes. But I also just wanted to talk more about like living in the South Loop and how I kind of manage that and what I find myself doing, places that I like. So I haven't been like too far out of the loop. My favorite spots are Chinatown, Wicker Park, Lincoln Park. So they're all like pretty close, which I think is good for students who are trying to navigate some areas that they can go to that aren't too far on the train or bus. So my top spot in Chinatown would be Veggie House. I want to give my tops in every place. So my top one in Chinatown is going to be Veggie House. It's my favorite. I'm vegetarian and everything there is vegetarian. And it's really good. The service is always very good. And it's just really great, and the vibe in there is nice. It's always nice and clean. And it's really good food. Especially it's a great option if you're vegetarian, because I know a lot of places in Chinatown don't all have vegetarian stuff. In Wicker Park, I really like, there's a couple ramen places that are really good. I really like Jenny's, which you can find in Wicker Park. I just recently went to this place called Karimu, which is like an ice cream bar, and that place was really, really good. Yeah, those are my favorites there. And Lincoln Park, I don't really go to any restaurants there. I've gone there for the Urban Outfitters surplus store, which is like basically a huge store of all of like the like old Urban Outfitters clothes that they didn't sell. There is some good restaurants there. I went to a really good sushi place there once. So there are definitely some really great places there. As far as in the loop goes, as far as like drinks and stuff, I really love Tea%. That's like my favorite boba place. I love going there for a little treat midweek. Also, Parlor Pizza is really good. That's a place I really enjoy. That is like, I think there's one River North, there's one in the West Loop. There's a couple of locations depending on where you live. You might be able to go to one of those. Those are some of my favorites as of now. Oh, Newbie is really good if you like sushi. That is right in the loop. Burger Alley just opened. Their stuff is pretty good. It's pretty cheap for students, so that is really nice. That's located in the university, East-West University, I believe it is. So yeah, those are like some of my top places if you're looking for some recommendations. As far as like other things I do, I love going to the Art Institute. That's like my favorite. Like I said, I love going to Wicker Park, even if it's just to like walk around. They have some good thrift stores there. Yeah, so those are like some really great things to do in the city, especially like when it gets nicer out. It's really nice to just walk around, go to like up to where the shops are. It's a nice walk. I really think that the Loop has a lot, even if you don't want to take public transportation. It's easy to find some stuff to do just in the general area, if you just are only comfortable walking anywhere. So yeah, those are some of my favorites. As far as advice goes, always have a buddy. I always recommend having a buddy. Personally, it makes me feel a lot more comfortable, especially as a woman walking around. I think that it's really important to always have someone with you, because even if it's not dark out or late, it still is, you can still run into some problems. Just because of you're located in a city, and that's just how it is. Make sure to always be paying attention to your surroundings. If you walk with confidence, nobody will question you. Make sure to always be looking forward. Don't be looking on your phone. That's really important. Yeah, just in general, I always keep a friend with you as much as you can. It's really just like, it's more fun, of course, anyway, when you're with a friend. So yeah, I really like the stuff that we have here, even just in the Loop. But like I said, going outside of the Loop a little bit is good as well. Chinatown, Wicker Park, Lincoln Park. That's like as much as I've explored really like in depth that I can recommend. Also, I just really think that like you can even take advantage a lot with the Columbia buildings. That's another thing that like was really hard to discover during COVID, was like I was missing out on all these extra things that I'm paying for. So definitely the library, like go to the library as much as you can. There's really nice like seating areas in there, and it's always pretty quiet, so you can find a nice quiet place to study or just relax. The student center, I always go to the top floor. There's some chairs up there that's always pretty quiet. There's the study rooms that you can book. I would recommend doing that. I've done that a couple times, and it is really nice. I know like the 33 building has really nice study areas. They have like these little nooks with desks in them that you can study at. Those are really nice as well. And then I just found out that 623 South Wabash has like upstairs there's this like 3D printing area. I think there's like pottery and woodworking and stuff. There's also an open studio where you can just go and paint, draw, whatever you want. And there's like for the 3D printing and all that, there's like a tutorial you have to do, and then you can use anything within that space. So I haven't actually been able to do that myself, but it seems really great. I didn't even know about that until this semester. So yeah, I would just really like talk to your friends who are in different majors and maybe discover different buildings, because those are the people who will be able to tell you about some other resources, and just like really go through the Columbia page and see what resources there are that might be good for you. Of course, here at SDI, we have printing, we have the computer lounge, we have the peer mentors. So there's a lot of places in Columbia that aren't advertised well that are really, really great resources, and I recommend that you look really deeply into those because you're paying for it. So it's something that you should definitely look more into if you're interested. I think that coming into Columbia, it's really overwhelming, so you should definitely do your best to make life easier for yourself, whether that's finding a good place to study or finding an area where you can do a hobby. So I think that's really important. So yeah, that is my life in the South Loop, the things I like. I think that as a film student, it's really overwhelming. The film department is pretty big, and it's hard to make friends. Like most of my classes, there's only been a very few amount of people that I've seen like multiple times in classes. Usually when I go to a class, it's all new people. I know for like the dance department, my friend who's in the dance department, she always knows people in her classes, and that is definitely not the case for film students, at least. So I know that that's really hard, but just doing your best to really be open and talk to people, especially if you notice somebody that like has similar interests to you. Even finding people on Instagram and reaching out to them through DMs. There's always a way to reach out to people, and I think that especially after COVID, people really stopped communicating a lot in person. So just do your best to really make yourself approachable and reach out to people. talk to people as much as you can, even if it's just complimenting their outfit, just small things. Make sure to talk to your professors, ask them if you need help. That's what they're there for. Ask them if you need any advice. Professors love to give advice, and they love to help you out. That's part of their job. So I know sometimes it's intimidating to ask your professor for help or to ask for advice or recommendations. So just email them and just make a good relationship with them. That has really helped me as well. So yeah, I think that Columbia can be a really great space if you make it that way, and if you don't, it can also be a not so great space and it can feel really lonely. So something that I experienced definitely was like, especially your freshman year, you're going to feel lonely and it's going to be hard because you're coming from a completely different environment. So I think it's really important to just do your best to use all the resources, meet as many people as you can, and really create a schedule here and like a pace that feels comfortable for you, because at the end of the day, it's how you feel comfortable and not what everybody else is doing. So yeah, that is all from me, I think. I hope that you all come to SDI, ask questions, ask for advice if you need it. That's what we're here for. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you all.